What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Frank. Figured I'd do a little story time today. Y'all like when I share stories with you. So I figured, why not today? And the story that I'm going to share to you is why I went to jail at 15 years old. Okay? I'm not talking about boot camp. I'm not talking about juvie. I'm not talking about foster home. I'm talking about adult prison. I was charged and certified as an adult and went to adult prison at the age of 15. So let me give you a little background story. Leading up to the day I committed that crime, I had already been sent to boot camps, foster homes, juvenile detention homes. You know, I had already been... So I was 15 at the time. I had already probably had, you know, a good 2 years of incarceration up to that time. You know, together, not all at one stint. I'd go to boot camp for 6 months, go to foster home for a year. You know, I'd go to juvenile lockups for 9 months, you know, all that stuff. So I probably had, you know, a good 2, maybe even 3 years already in the juvenile system. So the juvenile system, they say, is to try to rehabilitate you, right? When you're in juvenile, like in foster camps, foster homes and boot camps and juvenile facilities, they'll make you go to school, you know, they'll make you take classes, they'll try to make you go to counseling, all that stuff. When you go to prison, it's not so much like that. It's recommended, but you don't have to go. So, mind you, this type of stuff, I was getting in trouble up until that point. My first arrest was, I got caught with a large amount of marijuana, and I was charged with, you know, possession with intent to deliver, possession for personal use. At the time I was selling weed. You know, that's what I used to do when I was, you know, I was probably about 12 years old, and I was selling bud. My mom at the time wasn't around. That was at the very end of her addiction. So when I got arrested for that, my mom was actually in a rehab, and that was the last rehab she went to before she got clean. So my childhood wasn't the best, you know, to put it mildly. And when I started getting older, I wanted sneakers. I was a very materialistic person. I wanted to have the nice stuff, but my mom was in the middle of her addiction. She held down a job, but the extra money was going to her addiction. You know, so there was plenty of times where, you know, the electricity would get cut off in the house. The heat would get cut off. The lights would get cut off. You know, we used to have to heat up the house with the oven. We used to have to boil water to take a shower. We used to have to light candles to keep the, you know, lights on, stuff like that. We never had cable in the house growing up. We never had a TV, you know, growing up as kids. We just didn't have, you know, we never had that. So I remember when I first started hustling, it was just to get, like, I wasn't trying to shine and buy all types of crazy shit. I was just trying to have new sneakers, you know, clothing. And I would always give my mom money. If I had $200, I was probably giving her $125, you know, out of that 200. I would slip it in her pocket, or I'd put it in an envelope, put it on top of her dresser, and I'd write on the envelope, or in the envelope, a little note. You know, I'd be like, I love you. Please don't ask no questions. You know, so that's, you know, that's what I was doing at 12, 13, 14, leading up to 15. I was helping to pay the bills. You know, I had bought a car with my mom when we were young. So we had transportation, you know, and I had been getting arrested. Like I said, the first arrest was for weed. That's not what I got charged as an adult for, though. I had got a few aggravated assaults. along the way. A couple other drug cases, stuff like that. Where, especially when I was young, I was hothead. You looked at me the wrong way, you said something to me the wrong way, and it was on. And I was like that because of my broken home. I was hurting inside, so I just would act out. I felt like nobody understood what I was going through. Nobody knew what I was going through. There was times I found my mom dead on the floor, overdose. And thank God she survived and bounced back. But that's what I was going through at a young age. And there's, if I was to go into my childhood and tell you guys some stories, a lot of people would be like, man, that's why I think I have such a compassionate heart, because of a lot of stuff that I've been through, and also because at one time I didn't have this type of heart. I wasn't caring, I wasn't patient, none of that stuff. I wasn't loving. So anyway, I had been arrested numerous times. My PO was sort of fed up with me. The juvenile system was sort of fed up. I think honestly that they were just looking for a reason. It was like, eventually he's going to do something serious where we could just wash our hands with him and charge him as an adult and send him to prison. That's exactly what happened. I was in the 9th grade. I had got kicked out of the school that I had went to years previous, that I grew up in, the school I grew up in. I had got kicked out of there because I had got into a fight with a teacher. Teacher put his hands on me, and at the time I wasn't going for that. So got into a fight with a teacher, got expelled from school. They wouldn't let me back in the school district. So I went to the next school district over. I had an aunt that lived in that city, and I used her address and said, all right, I'm going to go to that school. But mind you, at the time I was living out on my own. I wasn't living at my mom's house. So it was my 9th grade year. I'm out on my own. Just barely getting by. I was sort of bouncing. I was essentially homeless. I was bouncing from one couch to another. I'd sleep in a car, or, stuff like that. A friend might let me, I might sleep in a fucking friend's basement or something. I might sneak in another friend's house to get a shower. My girlfriend's parents might let me stay there for a night or two, but that's how I was getting by. My income that I was making was, selling drugs. But I was already known in the area for, selling drugs. So anytime the cops would see me, because I was on juvenile probation, they could pull me over and search me. So I didn't really like doing that. I was trying to stay away from that because I knew, I just kept on catching these cases. So it was the summer 1995. I had a friend. He worked at Burger King. And at that time, he told me, he's like, yo, I closed the store at night, and these people, Burger King, is sending off, $15,000, $20,000 to deposit in the bank at night. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. So I started getting some ideas. I said, damn, $15,000, $20,000. I said, they're not going with armed security. I said, I could go take that. And I had already done this type of stuff before. So I started putting in motion how I was going to go take that money and make it mine. And mind you, my whole motivating factor was I just wanted to get new school clothes so I could go to school with, so I could show up to a new school so I don't look like a bum and then have to deal with kids, the whispers and people making fun of you and stuff like that. I had already went through that a lot growing up, and it led to a lot of fights for me. I'd hear kids talking about me, I'd punch them in the face. There wasn't no talking. So I just wanted to be nice, dress nice, have nice stuff, and my mom couldn't afford it. So I put the wheels in motion, ended up committing an armed robbery. So a week before that, right next to the Burger King, there was a Kentucky Fried Chicken. The Kentucky Fried Chicken had got stuck up for the same exact thing. The lady was going to deposit the money in the bank, and the lady got shot in the face. She got shot right in the eye. So if I would have thought about it, it was the absolute wrong time to do it. But, being young, impulsive, I was like, no, I'm going to get this. I should have known that they hadn't caught the people that did that. So they were out. The police were out looking, just waiting. They was like, this motherfucker gonna strike again. And that's what happened. Me and two other people, we wait for the ladies to come out with the deposit bag. We run up on them, stick them up. I end up with the bag, and it was right in front of a highway. So there was like a 4-lane highway. It wasn't a big highway though. It was, So I end up running across that, but mind you, I'm dressing all black, ski mask on. I look like a ninja. I run across the highway to go get into the vehicle, and as I'm running across the highway, look at this shitty luck. A state trooper is driving past and literally like almost hit me. If he would have been 30 seconds ahead, 10 seconds ahead, he would have hit me. I would have ran right into him. So I look at him, and he just looks at me, and he sees a man dressed in all black. I got this big ass bank bag, and then the other two guys I was with, they was running also. And then the lady starts screaming when she hears the cops. Once she sees the cops, she starts screaming. So it was on. I'm gonna fast forward through exactly what happened, and I'll tell you guys, if you guys like to hear, I'll get into detail. So I end up getting away. I had the money bag. I end up getting away. The two people that I was with, they got caught at the scene. I end up getting away. I show up to my girlfriend's house probably about 2 o'clock in the morning, drenched in sweat and water, mud, dirty, cut up. I was running for probably about, maybe a good 2 hours trying to get away from the cops. And there was numerous times where they were literally 10 feet away from me, and by some luck didn't find me. And then my cousin, she seen me come in that night. All right, she was friends with my girlfriend, and they all lived in the same projects. My cousin hears about it on the news. She sees the other two people that got locked up were people that I was always with, my homies. She said, I seen Frank come in 3 o'clock in the morning, and he looked like he'd been through hell. He was always with them guys. They were together earlier that day. She said, I know that motherfucker was in on it. She calls the cops on me and tells them, hey, I think I know who you're looking for. A week later, I'm in my girlfriend's house, same girlfriend. I'm selling a package. I look out the window, the front is flooded with cops. I go to run out the back is flooded with cops. So if y'all want to hear the rest, let me know. And I'll get into detail of how I ended up getting away that night, if y'all is interested. Just let me know. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think if y'all want to hear the rest. Thank you guys for listening. And please, if anybody's thinking about getting a bright idea from this, look at the way it turned out. Don't do it. It's not going to work. All right? So thank you guys. Remember to be kind, loving, and patient, because at some point in our life, somebody was kind, loving, and patient with us. Have a great day. My throat is a little raspy. I hope I'm not getting sick. I just went to Walmart and bought these drinks. So this is what I was talking about, these drinks. Liquid IV. But this one is immune system too. So hopefully this helps. All right, y'all. Stay blessed. Have a great day.